this money, this drug is taken in Honduras, sometimes we do get money. Where does this money go? Where does this money go? This money could help our country. The drug also has a value. When that drug is taken, instead of burning it, we can use it for building schools, for health.
Okay. Okay.
But this is an issue which we would have to have people who are prepared in this subject.
No, it's a problem even that the United States has no response to, because it's out of the government's control, because it's a consumer, it's a commercial commodity, and so long as the average American consumes drugs, we have a problem. One of the things that I've understood is that because of the war against drugs, the gangs, and the organized crime in Mexico, because the Mexican government has increased its war, that it has forced many of these organized crime syndicates and gangs south into Guatemala and into Honduras. So now we have Mexican gangs and drug syndicates in Honduras and Guatemala, and so there's no place else for them to go. They might go south to Nicaragua or to Costa Rica, but this is kind of like the last stop. So what you're saying is that the only solution for the short term is to work more with the military and the police. But what can you do within communities to have more cooperation within the business community? There are certain towns, for example, that have been infiltrated by organized crime, and everybody's scared. So the business community isn't collaborating with each other. Everybody's suspicious. How do you find a way to create programs at the community level to assist communities work together to deal with crime?
The communities that have been infiltrated are identified. This is a problem of security that has to be solved by the people who know about security in my government. The matter is that we need to develop in the extensive territory that Honduras has, that is being taken by these landings of drugs, to develop projects which will serve our country so that there will not be this easiness and how they operate. And in the measure that Honduras can develop the north coast and the great extensions of beaches, and then to facilitate international chains to develop tourism, then it will not be more attractive for landing in Honduras as it is not attractive to land in Nicaragua or Costa Rica.
Okay. Probably the most important issue, along with corruption, along with the divisions in this country, is education. Obviously, there's strikes all the time. Now even the students are striking, and they're taking over schools. They've learned from their teachers. They've been politicized. Not all of it is their fault. One of the reasons that they strike is because they don't always get paid on time. There have been times when I've gone into the mountains of Honduras and I've talked to nurses, doctors, teachers, and last time they've been paid was 8 months ago, 6 months ago. And I asked them, why don't you just quit? They said, well, if I quit, then I have no hope of getting any money. If I stay, maybe I'll get paid for 2 months or 3 months. And so I think this is a bigger problem than we read about in the papers. In the newspapers, it's always the teachers are the bad people. They're not teaching our children. But it takes two people to dance. And the government isn't dancing a lot of times. The government is not paying. A lot of times the government doesn't even know how many teachers they have. Recently, President Lobo asked his minister, Ventura, tell me how many people we have, how many teachers. So how do you make the government more efficient? Again, it's the issue of efficiency, so that it doesn't encourage these conflicts with the teachers. That's number one. And then, even if the teachers were teaching, the education the children are getting is poor quality. We've heard that Honduras in education is 100 years behind Costa Rica. Now, Costa Rica has a good system, but we're 100 years behind them. So how do you have some ideas of how do we change the curriculums so that we teach our kids how to compete in the real world?
The first thing is to evaluate the quality of the teachers that teach. I know that the teachers that teach in a great amount do not have the capacity because they didn't study. They do not know. They are either politicians who have been placed to teach in a little town without knowing, and sometimes without even knowing how to add and subtract. In some cases, they don't know how to read and write, even teachers. So Honduras needs, there's an international organization that can evaluate the education that exists in Honduras. The main thing is to evaluate teachers, and teachers who serve pay them everything that they have been able to accomplish through the statute, but those who are not good, to have them study. We need to invest a lot of money in preparing teachers, and we have to create awareness in the mind of these teachers that this problem of 100 years behind Costa Rica that we have, this is a problem that will become worse, and that even their own children will suffer. This is not only the children of others, but the children of the teachers themselves. Teachers in Honduras are around 60,000, if you want to tell Pepe Lobo the number. And these 60,000 teachers, most of them are not prepared to teach, and they have families, and all these families are being multiplying the bad education. So we need a strong investment in that area. The budget of education in Honduras is the highest in Central America. And it has the worst education in Central America. Why? Because it has many bureaucrats. The money that should be invested in preparing teachers is being used in paying parasites who are politicians. So this money exists. If we have the highest budget in Central America, we cannot have the worst education in Central America. Something is wrong in the distribution of money.
And that's actually a good lead up to the next question.
Yes.
I've gone into villages where I see lines of people, long lines of people, and I asked my friend, what's this? They're getting paid. A lot of teachers, a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses in the countryside, in a large part of Honduras.
No les pagan.
Well, no les pagan, they don't get paid, but it's not so much that they don't get paid, it's the way, the system for payment. In the United States, nobody's ever missed a payment to me for my job. Never, never. And the money goes directly into my bank account.
Yes.
And it happens in Honduras too, but in most of the country it does not happen. People stand in line to get paid in cash. How do you change a payment distribution system so that it's more efficient? I know it's hard because of technology, poor communications.
No es difícil.
It is not difficult. Honduras is the country in Central America that has the best technological way, the best software. Honduras is selling software to do such things.
Let's talk about software.
Tell me more about what...
Honduras
is selling to other countries software to make this kind of work of payments through banks. So Honduras, the government doesn't want to do it because they don't have the money, or they do not know if with this money they will need to use it for some other things like politics. The budget is there, but they do not want to make it in a legal way through electronic ways because Honduras is the most developed country when it comes to messages, text. Honduras could save in the elections of next year 2013, 1,600 million lempiras, making votations through text. Honduras was the first country in America which
a través de
made banking
mensajitos por
through
celular.
text messages
El
on cell
primer
phones. The
país
first country
de América
in
lo
America
hizo el Banco Continental
was
de San
done
Pedro
by
Sula.
Continental Bank
How
in San
important
Pedro
is
Sula.
technology in your platform?
¿Cómo nació la tecnología en mi...
How important is technology to your campaign, to your
Nosotros,
endeavors?
los políticos tradicionales se ríen de
Traditional
nosotros
politicians laugh
porque
at
dicen
us
Nasralla
because
quiere
they
ser
say
presidente por
Nasralla wants to be
internet.
president through internet.
Porque el político hondureño,
Because the Honduran
aparte de no
politician,
tener una
besides not
formación
having a
tecnológica,
technological, training,
sabe que la
they
tecnología
know
lo puede
what is
delatar.
technology, and they know that technology
peligro para un
can, it's a
político
threat
poner
to
las cosas a
him
través del
to
internet.
put things through internet. It's a danger.
Aunque hagan publicidad de
Even
que
though
están
they
poniendo
make
cosas por
publicity that they're
internet,
putting
pero
things
ponen
on
las cosas
internet,
más
but they put
elementales.
only the most elemental
Pero,
things.
por ejemplo, una
But for
votación
example, an
por
election
mensajito
through
que no le
text
costaría al país
messages
nada,
that would not cost the
le
country
costaría cero.
anything, it would cost it
Está
zero.
perfectamente
It's
posible
perfectly
hacerla.
possible to
Honduras
do
es
it.
el primer país de América
Honduras
que vende
Honduras is the
seguros
first
por
country in
mensajito.
America that sells also
Primer país de América que
insurances
vendió
through
seguros
text. This is the
para
first
personas
country
por
that
mensajito.
sold
De
insurances
América,
through
no
text in
solamente
America, not
Centroamérica.
only Central
Entonces
America.
tenemos excelentes
So we
productores
have
de
excellent
software,
producers of
excelentes productores de
software,
tecnología.
excellent producers of
Pero
technology.
los políticos no
But
quieren meterse a
politicians
eso
do not
porque
want to
no
get
se
into
puede
that
robar.
because you cannot steal there.
Entonces nosotros
So
queremos,
we want,
una vez que estemos
once
puestos como
we
partido,
are as a party,
queremos
we want
postular para que se haga la
to
votación vía
propose
mensajito
to
y
have
esos
a
1.600
votation
millones de
through
lempiras
text,
se
and
le den
those
de comida
1,600
a las personas
million
que no tienen
lempiras
comida.
can be
Do you
given in
think
food
there's
to
a
people.
way for Honduras
Piensa que hay
to
una manera.
promote this type of software export that you're talking about? What would you do differently to encourage that?
Por supuesto,
Of
nosotros,
course,
la persona que
the
trabaja conmigo en el
person who
partido
works with
anticorrupción
me
que
in
maneja
the
mi página web
anti-corruption
es una
party,
de las
who
personas,
handles or manages my
quizá la
webpage,
persona que más
it's
sabe de esto en
maybe one
Honduras,
of
se
the
llama
persons that knows the
Luis
most. His
Redondo.
name is Luis Redondo.
Él tiene una compañía
He
que
has a
atiende aquí a los
company
bancos, que atiende
that
a
works with
empresas,
banks
y
and
no solamente en
companies,
Honduras,
and
también
not only
fuera
in
de
Honduras,
Honduras.
even out of Honduras.
Entonces,
So
nosotros venderíamos,
we
o sea,
would sell.
procuraríamos
We
que toda la
would try
gente
that
que
all
tiene esta
people who
habilidad
have this
para vender software
capacity to
desarrollen
sell
más
software, that they
capacidades
would develop more
para poder
capacity to
vender
be
esto al
able to
extranjero.
sell this to foreign
How
countries.
about the opportunity
tal?
that the internet presents by developing applications using the World Wide Web as a platform?
Nosotros, si usted
We,
entra a
if
nuestra
you go
página,
into our webpage,
se va a fijar que
you will
casi todo lo
see
tenemos
that we
prácticamente
have
por
almost
el
everything
internet.
on internet.
Físicamente tenemos muy pocas
Physically,
cosas
we have
todavía.
very few
Vamos a tener
things
físicamente
still.
cosas,
We will have
pero
a
nosotros casi todo lo
few
estamos
things,
haciendo
but
por ahí.
we are
Nos comunicamos con
doing
las
most
personas a través del
everything.
internet.
We communicate with
Solo que
people through
encontramos
internet,
problemas como, por
but
ejemplo,
we
que en
find
muchos
problems
lugares de
such
Honduras,
as that in many places in
todos los días
Honduras,
les cortan la energía
every
3
day
horas o 4 horas.
electricity is cut like for 2-3
el internet
hours,
es de
or
mala calidad y
internet it
eso,
has
pero
bad
nosotros,
quality. But
estamos conscientes
we
de
are
ese tipo de
aware of this
limitaciones
type of
y
limitations,
pretendemos
and
que en
we
cada lugar de Honduras
pretend that in
el
each
internet sea
community in
un
Honduras,
arma,
internet will be a
de manera que
tool,
la gente no necesite gastar los dineros que
so
está
that
gastando en
people
este
will not
momento
need
para hacer
to
procedimientos
spend the money they're
antiguos
spending to follow
como los
all
que
the
se utilizan, por
procedures
ejemplo,
as the
para la
ones that
votación.
are used for,
I think
elections.
one of the issues that Stan and I have been talking about with regard to technology, I didn't know what you just told me. I didn't know that Honduras was already a significant exporter. So that's news to me. When I listen to people talk about jobs and private investment, foreign investment, a lot of times they're focusing on things like bringing in calls.